Welcome back to another episode of The Loco Fit Show, where we redefine what healthy means to you. I'm your host, Lauren Conlon, and today is a quick solo episode on how to avoid the holiday fuck-its. And listen, I am saying this not in a patronizing way at all. We have all fallen into these one time or another. And a lot of times what I'm sharing is what I've either learned through my own experience with coaching clients and what works, or what has worked for me and how to get through this. So I know that this time of year, it is so easy to just let all of the food centric events and everything just pile up and us just be like, yeah, we'll just wait till the new year. And I get it. I've been there before. I've been in that headspace where it's like, I'll just wait until this next date, or once I get through this. And especially with the holidays, it is so easy to get into that mindset because there are so many different things that are going on. But what will happen is you will look up in a few weeks, whether it's the start of the new year or really any other time, and be like, wow, I've really let my personal standards down. And not only do I not feel my best or look my best physically, but more important, mentally, you're going to be in a different headspace and honestly just be in a rut. So here are some ways that we can combat that. First, if you have already solidified your habits and routines that you know make you feel your best, keep at them. I know it can be harder when there are more demands with travel and family and socializing and different things going on. But if you know that, okay, these 2 or 3 things that anchor me during my day are so important, make sure you get them done. And I know that sometimes we have like all of these things that make us feel great, right? We're like, oh no, well, I feel my best when I have these 15 things. Okay, maybe that's not realistic. Maybe during this time of year, that's not going to be realistic. But what are the top 3 things that you know make you feel your best? And when you don't do them, you really start to falter. I know for me, morning walk and journaling is absolutely essential. I feel so much better in virtually every area when I'm able to do that. Now, are there other things that I would like to add to that as well? Do I like to meditate? Do I like to read? Do I like to go for longer walks? Of course, but at minimum, if I get a 10-minute walk and a journal for a page or set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes, that's 15 minutes that I've set aside for myself that I know makes me feel better. And that's not taking away from really anything else that's going on. A lot of times what happens is during, holidays and travel and all this, we don't want to be a burden to other people in our lives. And I totally understand that. And I'm not asking you to say, hey, I need 16 hours for this. It's like, wait, what? Like for your morning routine? No, sometimes you're going to have to make some concessions, but you can wake up earlier and get in your 15 minutes that you maybe need for yourself, do a workout for 45 minutes, some kind of modified lift. And then, hey, now you're ready to tackle the day. You're in a totally different headspace. You've hit your goals. You're feeling really, really great. And that's going to help you make better decisions along the rest of the day. And it's not something that you had to really take away time from your family or really set aside too much, just time in general. And that's one of the other things. Second thing would be to pre-plan your time and your travel. Sometimes things come up unexpected, understandably, but generally speaking, we have a rough idea of what we're going to be doing and when we're doing it. So if you know, okay, I'm going to be traveling these days to these days, or I'm going to be spending time with family here, or I have this event, whatever it is, start to pencil that in and put that in your calendar, whatever, type of calendar that you use. I like writing things down. I can see everything much easier. But once you have a handle on like what is going to be happening, then you can start to plan things a lot easier from there. Okay, I know I'm going to be traveling these days and these days. I don't know if I'll have gym access here. Or hey, no, when I travel here, we have the best gym access. There's an amazing gym that I love to visit. Or hey, when I'm going to be with family these 3 days, it's going to be really tough to do anything outside of getting, maybe like a walk and, some journaling in it or whatever it might be for you, reading, 10 pages of a book, something like that. Knowing ahead of time so then you can pre-plan is so essential. And even if it's not just for the week, but also just for that day, okay, when I have an idea of what I'm doing during the day, now I can pre-plan a little bit better. If in the morning we have something going on, okay, well maybe later I will do this or vice versa. If I know that later in the day, we are going to be doing this, now I can wake up earlier and get it done. And I'm not saying to be obsessive and to be that person who is not making any compromises, because you're probably going to have to make compromises. But this does come down to planning. If you know you're going to be gone for 3 days with limited gym access, get your training done before. Front load your training. Nobody likes training 4 days in a row. But that's better than not getting it done. And don't come back and say, oh, well, I didn't have time to get it done. You did have time to get it done. You just didn't prioritize things. And listen, that happens. We all slip up from time to time. We all don't prioritize shit from time to time, and we make bad decisions. But the idea is to try to make the best decisions possible and really do our best, especially if we do know ahead of time what we will be engaging or not engaging in. The next thing is understanding your worth it's. And I don't like labeling food. Y'all know that, but this concept really rings true and just makes a lot of sense. So what is a worth it? Something that you are really going to enjoy, that you really want to be eating or drinking, and is really, honestly, worth it. There's going to be plenty of times where you're presented with food or drinks that you just kind of find yourself eating or drinking. You're like, this isn't really even that good. Those are the times where you say, hey, this really isn't worth it for me, versus, hey, my mom makes the best whatever meal or side dish, or you're really going to want that, not some, oh, this was the holiday potluck and somebody brought store-bought what. Probably not. It's probably not it. We've all been there. It's not it. It's not worth it. So that's going to be a time where you're like, you know what? I'm either going to make different choices, or I'm going to bring my own food. I'm going to still be social, but maybe not have any of these calories. And then there might be a time that comes up again, vice versa, that you're like, no, this is worth it. This is one of my favorite things ever. And you enjoy it fully, and then you move on. So understanding your worth it's is really going to make sure that this holiday season doesn't just turn into everything is worth it, even though we know that it's not. And then lastly, if you mess up, it's okay. What we don't want to happen is you have one bad day or 2 bad days or 3 bad days, and then that becomes a whole month or 2 or 3 months. And like I said, that's when, at the end of the holiday season and, the new year is upon everybody, and all of those things have kind of, fallen to the wayside. And it's like, man, who am I? I don't feel like myself at all. And this is not to say that you have to be some robotic, perfect person over the holidays. Quite the contrary. This is saying, okay, let's moderate ourselves. Let's pre-plan. Let's say, okay, I'm going to be here these few days with my family. This is going to be higher calorie, maybe some more alcohol, maybe less activity. Okay, I'm going to make sure that ahead of time, I am really dialed in with my training, really dialed in with my nutrition. I'm going to be changing my schedule around to times where I maybe wouldn't normally train or do whatever, and I'm going to get it all done. And then I'm still going to fully enjoy these things. I'm going to enjoy my worth it, but I'm also going to say no to stuff that maybe really isn't worth it. And that is all going to require some restraint and moderation and being less impulsive around our choices. But it truly is the way to get through, whether it's the holiday season or really just kind of any busy season, and not turn it into a fuck it season. So if you guys need help or accountability through this process, you can reach out for coaching. You can visit teamlocofit.com for more information, or you can join our amazing app. There's training programs, there's macros, there's meal plans, all different sorts of things on there if that is better for your time and your budget right now. I know a lot of people are not in a position, honestly, to even need coaching quite yet. They just need some help and accountability and a plan to get started, which is exactly why we created that app. So that is redefinehealthyapp.com. You can check out all of those details. And yeah, I know that this is a tough time of year. If you're listening to this currently, we're at the end of the year and there's so many things going on. But using these strategies can really help you avoid turning the holidays into a fuck it season and coming out the other end and feeling really great about yourself and your choices.